Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to have you guys here today. And excuse me, we are going to do a couple of things. The topic for today is team meetings, retreats, and more. So we have quite a bit of content. So what we're going to do is split it up a little differently than we normally do. I'm going to jump right into content and then we'll have some chat time and some mindset training and then more content and then we'll close out the day. So the first thing I want to chat about is team meetings, and then I will not forget to save at least half of the call for team retreats. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is a screen share with you guys, and I want to share with you some videos I made for you about team meetings. Okay. So this is from Elite. It's a 6-step staff meeting. And the reason why I want to share this staff meeting is to share the real power of having an outlined intentional team meeting. So this is the exact format that Dr. Nona and I used in practice. We had 6 steps to every Monday staff meeting. It was always the same. It was really efficient. Nothing really slipped through the cracks. So if one of the steps doesn't work for your office, doesn't resonate with you, maybe you do that at a different time, no big deal. Anything that we share in this mastermind is a take the best and leave the rest. So you're asking the question, how does this apply to me? You're asking, what's the best part of this that I can implement? Do I want to tweak my meeting a little bit and add some of these steps? Is our meeting clearly defined? And I know this is something that like Brittany and I have talked about a lot because we'll tend to like go a million directions, or I tend to go a million directions, and she's really good at harnessing me in. Um, and there's just such power in having a defined meeting. Like we spend 5 minutes on this, 10 minutes on this, 5 minutes on this. And that's definitely a goal for our team. I can't say we're quite there. I can say in chiropractic, we were there with the team meetings that I ran in the office. And it was great because every time they were 30 minutes, no matter what, every Monday, we'd usually oftentimes do it over lunch. And this was what to expect. So I just want to share with you our format because it worked really well for us. To the point of, with the practice that we used or that we ran, the claim to fame is part-time $1 million cash practice, double your business in 90 days. These are all the strategies that we use to actually do that were created as proof of concept for those programs created down the road. So this is one of those strategies. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. I'm just going to play these short videos for you guys because they're broken up by step, which I think is kind of nice.
Welcome to the Elite 6-step staff meeting. So for your 6-step staff meeting, it's extremely important that you pick a reoccurring day and time to set your staff meeting. Monday is the best time to do your staff meeting because you're starting the week off strong, either before the shift or at lunchtime. I know Mondays can be really big days. Think of the staff meeting as something that's going to help the entire week flow better and bring ease as a team. Now, your staff meeting or your team meeting, it is not a time to complain, to bring up issues. This is a time where the energy is high, it's inspirational. You should feel fueled up and energized at the end of the meeting. And that's going to be done by setting intentional goals and action steps to meet your goals at the staff meeting. Okay, let's dive in. So step number 1 to your 6-step staff meeting is intention. Massive intention lays the foundation for massive action. So before we're going to do anything significant, and especially before setting out goals and action steps, we want to get everybody in a peak state, just like in your pre-shift huddle. So how do you do this? How are you going to get everyone in your peak state? each individual team member has a responsibility to show up at that staff meeting ready to go, show up ready to perform at your peak, show up excited, ready to set these action steps for your goals, and then do something together as a team to build unity, to bring up the energy, bring up your peak state, bring up the inspiration. So you can share great things like patient success stories. You can talk about gratitude for the entire team. What has the team accomplished this week? What goals have you met? What did you meet last week? What are you proud of? What do you appreciate about each other? All of these things can help bring the energy up as a team. Now, also, inspiration isn't necessarily all good, happy, exciting things. So, for example, oftentimes I'm inspired to do my work by seeing things that aren't working for people or seeing how people are suffering. So, if I see, let's say, a business owner that is suffering in his business, in his practice, and suffering with the team, and things are not working and they're having a hard time, and it's hindering the ability to serve others and help people become the best versions of themselves, that's going to inspire me when I see that pain. So you can also be inspired by pain as well. So keep that in mind. You may bring something to the team meeting, something that is happening maybe in your community or maybe in healthcare in general, something that's happening that is a huge problem that your potential patients can find refuge and find the answer to that problem within your four walls. Okay, so that's step one, inspiration.
Okay, step one, inspiration. So start thinking about that now. When I am moving from video to video, instead of just hanging, use this as a moment to actually write down and take action as if this were a staff meeting. What's your inspiration of the week? What is your inspiration of the week?
Okay, step number two of the 6-step staff meeting is intention. One of my very favorite steps. Okay, so in our elite offices, we always recommend that you have an intention sheet. Now, what is the intention sheet? That part's important to get crystal clear on what the intention sheet is. The intention sheet is really simple. Basically, I look at my stat sheet, which is not the intention sheet. My stat sheet is what's actually happening, the hard pulled numbers of what's been happening. So I can track months back, years back. You've got to keep track of that. A simple Excel sheet will work. So you have your stat sheet, and then you have your goals. You have your quarterly goals. So I look at my stats in the past and I look at my quarterly goals, and that's my measure to determine what my intentions are. My intention sheet, stat sheet, quarterly goals. Oh, and then also any special events that you have going on that week that would generate more business for the practice. Okay, so what's the intention sheet? It is your intention as a team, your numbers intentions that you're all committed to. What are some numbers that you all believe are 100% believable and possible, and you're excited about for this coming week? So what kind of numbers could you put on there? I like to put my patient visits per week. So basically, how does this look? On the top row, I would put per week, all the numbers I'm tracking per week. And then on the side column, I would put each day of the week. And then under those numbers you're tracking per week, on each day, you'd put what numbers you made it to. So it looks like this. On the top, numbers I like to track, and you may add things to this, other things that you would like to track and set intentions for. The ones I'd like to set intentions for are my patient visit average, my patient visits of the week, my new patients of the week, my collections, my conversions, and my referrals. So there's 5 there. You may add to them. You might not even want to set intentions for all of those things. It really depends on your goal. Those are the ones I like. Now, the one that I most often get questions about is the conversions. What's conversions? There's a lot of different ways to track conversions. So in some offices, it's convert like new patient conversions. How many new patients signed up for care? What's your conversion rate there? That's the most common way. There are some other conversions to consider tracking. One would be if you are the type of practice that transitions patients into a maintenance or lifetime care, that's a great conversion to track. How many patients are you transitioning into maintenance or lifetime per week, which will tell you per month, per quarter. Another conversion rate that is really great to track is if you have other departments, like let's say you offer other services in your practice. Say you have a nutritional counseling program, a weight loss program, a massage therapy, a yoga studio, a gym where you do weightlifting and CrossFit. Another thing you can track is the conversion crossover from one department to another. So how many of your, let's say, weight loss patients are converting into chiro patients and vice versa. So this is going to tell you over a longer period of time how many people are utilizing all of your services. And that may be an area where you now have this whole new, all these new resources to be able to build the practice and help more people get healthy and bring in more new patients, is simply by looking at your other departments and seeing, okay, let's see, this, massage therapist we have sees an average of 30 people a week, and only 5 of those are patients here. So how can we train her on the verbiage? What can we do? How can we give tours when those people come in? What could we do to help those people convert over to our chiropractic care? Now, some of you are implementing brand new programs. We have a lot of people implementing nutritional type programs or doing blood work programs in your practice. So something you can track now is how many chiro patients are you converting to your nutritional program per week. So those are things that you can track, and also not only track them on your stat sheet, but set intentions for them every single week. So maybe your intention one week is to have 17 people convert from chiro to your nutritional counseling program. Does that make sense? So once you have your weekly intentions, then you can break them up per day in your intention sheet and write per day what number that would be. So for instance, if my weekly intention for patient visits, if I want to see 500 this week, what is that going to mean per day? So and what is it going to mean per shift? So I'd look per shift and then see how many shifts are in a day and calculate numbers that way. Does that make sense? Pretty straightforward, right? And then on the bottom of the intention sheet, I like to have a spot for each team member's name. And that's where each team member could commit to an action step to help meet those intentions of the entire practice. So what you really need is one person in the practice that's 100% responsible for the intention sheet. This is typically your office manager or your front desk person, or in some cases, they're one and the same. So what you're going to do is you're in charge of bringing the last week's intention sheet completely filled out with what your intentions were and which ones you met, hopefully all of them. And then you're going to bring this coming intention sheet with the intentions that you have set out for this week. You're going to present it to the team. See, do we need to edit any of these? Are they all believable? Are they all achievable? Maybe some of these intentions, we want to make them even bigger given events and things that we have going on this week. So last thing that I want to answer, just in case, because this comes up a lot, is where do I get those weekly intentions, or what do I base them off of? I would base those off of reverse engineering your end of the quarter goal. So you look at the end of the quarter goal and you say, what does this mean for every single week? So you reverse engineer it. See, what does this mean in new patients? What does this mean in conversions? What does this mean in patient visits? Then you can let the team know, like, in order to meet our goal and to stay on track with our goal, we would need to see 6 new patients this week. Now let's hear from the team and see what's our intention this week. Is it to see 6, or maybe can we up it to 10? What do we really feel like we can hustle and make happen? So they're based off of those goals, right? And then you can up them and get ahead of the game a little bit. Now, intentions also, you can set intentions under the same category. So the intention sheet's the main thing. The second two areas, one is you can set daily intentions. So you can have intentions for every day of the week and say, our intention on Wednesday is to build referrals. Our intention on Thursday is to talk about family care and care for kids and really build awareness in that. Our intention is on Friday is getting your body strong and healthy for the weekend. Our intention on Monday is to book any makeup visits for the week. So you have those intentions for every single day. So you may review those or discuss those in your team meeting. And the other thing is setting specific intentions for patients. Now, this can take a little longer. So again, I always recommend doing this instead of in the team meeting at the beginning of your pre-shift huddle, is quickly roll through your schedule, rapid fire, read someone's name, set an intention for them. Read the next person's name, set an intention. So you may highlight a few key people that you have intentions for in your team meeting, or you may even discuss and celebrate the wins from your last week's intentions, looking at, hey, we set the intention for family care last week, and look, we have these 6 patients that are bringing in their families this week. So in the meeting, it's quick, it's fast, it's speedy. Your intention sheet's already filled out. You look at what did you do last week, what worked, what did you do great, what needs work, and then you look at this coming week and you look at those intention goals. You set them as a team for the entire week, and then you set your action steps. What are we each going to do to make those intentions happen? Have fun.
Okay, beautiful. So again, take immediate action. As I load the next video, I want you guys to write down what did you learn and what specifically are you going to implement from that last video, from the intention sheet. What did you learn? What are you going to implement? What's new that you haven't done that you're going to start doing? Or maybe what are you doing that you are going to go ahead and stop doing? Okay, here goes it. Video number 3. Halfway through. Beautiful. Take good notes.
Okay, step 3 of the 6-step staff meeting is marketing. So the first thing to keep in mind about marketing is that it is every single team member's responsibility to grow the practice. That's right. So that means coming up with your own innovative ideas every single week of what are some new things that we can do to grow the practice. What have we done in the past that worked really well that we can do more of? I also like to, when I think of marketing, think referrals, referrals, referrals. So how are you going to bring in a constant stream of referrals, not only from your circle of influence, but from your patient's circle of influence? So one easy thing to do each week is in this team meeting, when you're looking at marketing, give everybody a turn to share their idea of one thing that they're committed to doing this week to help grow the practice. So for instance, you would really want to look at your circle of influence. What are you doing every single week? What do you do every single month where you're coming into contact with other people in the community that are not yet patients? So let's say you are taking a yoga class down the street, inviting the people that are in your yoga class, inviting the instructors, offering to do a health talk there could be something that you could do. So really thinking outside the box. Oh, maybe you're part of a certain Bible study, maybe inviting everyone from the Bible study to come to one of your workshops or one of your events, or to come in as new patients. So a good way to start is just think as an individual team member, who do I know, or what group of people do I know that are not currently patients? And that's a great place to start. Now, what else for marketing? I like to split it up into 2 categories. I look at internal marketing and external marketing. So once you've first decided how you are individually as a team member going to contribute to the practice this week, then look internally and then look externally. So what are we doing internally this week? Do we have any internal events coming up? How can we increase our referral conversations that we're having? How can we honor people that have referred inside the office? And then what are we doing externally? Have we planned health talks, posture screenings, health fairs, events that we're going to, lunch and learns? What are we doing externally to grow the practice? So you should have about averaging one a week of each, an internal event and an external event, depending on your pace of growth and how much space you have for new patients. If you're at the point now where you don't have very much space left for new patients, your numbers are right about where you want them, but you want to maintain, then I would say once a month. So doing one internal event a month and one external event a month. If you're wanting to grow, then once a week for sure. So that is step number 3, marketing.
Step 3, you got it. More than halfway through here. Okay, so go ahead and get a fresh sheet of paper, put a line down the middle, on one side internal marketing, one side external, and rapid fire write what your office does for internal marketing, what it does for external. And ideas count, even what you've been thinking about doing or you want to do, or any ideas, and kind of figure out what are your strengths and weaknesses here. Are there tons of things you do for internal marketing but nothing for external, or vice versa? Which area needs to be grown and expanded upon? Maybe you used to do something really awesome that you no longer do. So if you used to do it and it worked and you stopped, let's start doing it again so it'll work again. Okay, here we go. Step 4 to the 6-step staff meeting.
Step 4 of your 6-step staff meeting is choosing your patients that you are going to acknowledge. Your patient of the week. You can do correction of the week. You could have a referral champion of the week as well. So like each step of the 6-step staff meeting, what I would recommend is that you have a team member assigned to be in charge of this step. And that's going to make it flow really, really smoothly. And then also everyone has a responsibility to fulfill in the meeting. So everybody could have a specific part of the meeting, or you could pair people up for the larger teams that they're in charge of, and then give them a time frame as well. So if my job, for instance, is going over patient of the week, it's going to be my job start to finish. So I'm going to select the patient. I'm going to get everything that I need to celebrate them. If I need to take photos of them, post them on Instagram or send them over to the person that does posts online, I'm going to get that all done. If we have a visual in the office, a lot of offices will have boards. You could have a board that says, patient of the month, and then it could have, or patient of the week, it could have all the symptoms that have been resolved for them. You can have a resolved list. It could say resolved here, check mark, check mark, check mark. Way cool for people to see that. You could have a before and after picture of their x-rays next to that. You could have just a photo of that patient as well. That would be a good thing for like a correction of the month, the results they're getting. Now for a patient of the month, you could do something. I would think about what kinds of patients do you want to attract? What kinds of patients do you want to see? So let's say, for instance, if I want to see more athletes in my practice, I'm gonna highlight the athletes that have come in. If I want to see more families, I may make my patient of the week families. And then that way you're creating culture within who you choose. And I may put here the verbiage I may put on my board or on my post online. I'd put something like, this is Suzanne. She's been so dedicated to bringing her entire family in to get strong and healthy and get great results. She understands that better posture means better overall health. And you put that on your board near Suzanne, and then that could be the exact same verbiage you would send over to your social media person. Maybe that's you, right? With the photos and everything that you need. Now, of course, for all of these, you're going to have the patient sign the consent form before you post anything. And of course, ask their permission as well to share their story in advance. So you got to make sure to do that. It's your job to come to the meeting with everyone that you have selected, the results they've gotten, everything. Maybe you've already gotten a head start last week on taking their photos, or perhaps they're coming in this week and you're taking their photos for the following week. So you always want to stay a week ahead on this. Now, referral champion, that's something I added since most of you are referral-based practices or going in that direction and creating referral culture. Let's highlight that. Let's highlight someone that is referred. It could be a patient, a team member. If you really didn't have anyone that week, but you had people coming from Google or Yelp, you can highlight Google or Yelp as your referral champion of the week. And again, this gives great conversation for healthy topics when you're working with patients. You can say, hey, did you hear about Suzanne? You know, she brought in her entire family. Who in your family hasn't come in yet? And you can have those conversations. Or did you hear about Joey? He's a referral champion. He brought in everyone in his office or booked a health talk at his office. Did you know we give health talks? When would you like to book a health talk? So this gives you just a visual to have these conversations with your patients. If you're not the kind of practice that likes to have a visual on the board, if I have practices that like all white walls, if that's you, then you can use these in your social media posts. And I hope that you do both, or in your testimonial on the websites as well. And at the very least, highlight them so that you can have these conversations with your patients in the practice. Who's a great person to do this? A great person would be the person that does your re-exams, would be really good because they're really up to speed with the results the patient has gotten. Your rehab person or PT person, someone that's working one-on-one with the patients all the time and they're hearing about the great results. Your chiropractor, your associate doctor, any of those people would be absolutely ideal to be the ones to pick the people for the board. So have someone that's in charge of it. And remember, if you're in charge of something like this, you can always delegate out. Your job is to make sure you come to the meeting with everything laid out, ready, start to finish. If you need to delegate out portions of that, pieces of that, you can, as long as you are absolutely committed to making sure it gets done before that Monday meeting.
Okay, so start jotting down. Again, this is something you could implement immediately if you don't already do it. So take the action, be the one that does it. Write down, who do you know, which patient would you choose as patient of the week, patient of the month, and referral champion? What 3 patients would you choose? And of course, you can present it to your team before it's final say. But which do you choose? Write that down now.
Step 5 of your 6-step staff meeting. Now, step 5 is the only step in the entire staff meeting that really would be best to have your chiropractor take care of step 5. That's the only part. The rest can be totally ran by the team. In fact, in many cases, step 5 can be ran by the team as well. But if you are going to have your doctor do one step, this would be a great one for them. Now, this is reviewing a patient case. So this is where they're going to come to you, come to the team and share some details about this patient. Not only, how messed up their spine is, not only the troubles they came in with, the symptoms. Yes, they'll include that. But more importantly, who is this person? She's a mom and a teacher, and she volunteers on the weekends at the homeless shelter, all these little details. Who is this person? And why is really contributing to her life? Excuse me. Why is that making a difference for her and those in her life? This is such a great way for the team to really get connected and bonded to the patients. I know that it's easy to get really jaded and just go through the motions every day with your patients. Another patient, and you're working through with them, and just getting that habit of going through the motions, and the people become less valuable in a sense once we're on autopilot. So taking this very specific time every single week for 2 minutes, maybe 4 minutes tops, to review a patient case. Who is this person? What do I know about them that I can share with my team? And also, why they come in, what are their emotional hooks, what are their compelling reasons for being here, what improvements have they seen, just essentially a full case review of a patient. Super important step. Let's not forget it. Don't forget step 5. Remember, you can have your doctor, your chiropractor do step 5. If not, a team member can do this as well. It's going to take a little more digging and a little more research for a team member, but you are perfectly capable of doing it. So have fun with step 5. It's always one of my favorites.
Okay, one left to go.
Hello, step 6 of your 6-step staff meeting. So step 6 is the most interesting and dynamic step because that is your role-playing step. So you get to choose if this is something that you're going to do during the staff meeting, or if this is something that you want to have a designated time on a different day to do. I found in practice that it wasn't always realistic to do in that Monday staff meeting. So what we did is we did it Tuesday at lunchtime. We did our role play. Now, whether you do it during the staff meeting or one of the following days, it's extremely important that every team member shows up 100% prepared for role playing day. This is not memorizing the script day. This is not review day. This is role play day. So it's essentially, think of it as a test, like a test day. So what you're going to do is you'll have whoever's in charge of role play will have the role playing schedule for the entire quarter, or in some cases the entire year. Everybody knows what the schedule is. The role-playing person will send out the schedule in the beginning of the year, beginning of the quarter, may even do weekly reminders of the upcoming script that will be role-played. And if you're the role-play person, that's your responsibility to make sure everybody knows what they're going to be role-playing and you show up ready. So for the rest of the team members and the role-play person, know your script, show up ready, and the role playing should be quick, no more than 15 minutes for the entire team to role play through. So here's the way that it works is you're going to have the team members that are role playing that day role play for the other team members, and the other team members are going to observe. They're going to be the coaches, and you can tell them what they did really good and what could be even better in their role play. Now, so here's what can happen. Here's the trap that could happen is there can be some people will start role playing and they will also be a narrator. You are not the narrator of your role play. You're just role playing as if it were a real patient. So I see this all the time. Like if someone's nervous or maybe they didn't study enough, they'll say, I didn't study enough for this script, or I'm normally really good at this. I'm just nervous right now. All these excuses, all these things that actually, even if those are true, like you may be really good at script in real life, but then when you role play, you get nervous. Well, here's what happens. What you focus on, that's where the energy goes. So even by verbalizing, I'm really nervous, I do this better in real life, you're going to get that result. It's not going to be as good as you do it in real life. So why not, instead of saying that beforehand or in your mind, no, I do this every day. This is my turf. I'm amazing at this. And then go through your role play. No excuses, no rhetoric, no narrating. You just go straight through to role playing. That's the only way to keep it fast and really respect each other's time, is to do straight up role playing, quick feedback. So your whole role playing session should be about 15 minutes, give or take a couple minutes on each end, depending on which script that you're role playing. It doesn't need to be longer than 15 minutes. So what if you have a big team and you think, oh, we have all these people that need to role play? No problem. You just simply split up in groups and do your role play. Okay, so I have one very special thing I want to read directly out of. This is a direct quote from Dr. Fred, who was the creator of the 6-step staff meeting. So here goes it. This is how important that sixth step is. It says faulty scripts and performance will leave a mediocre experience for the patients and they may not stay. That is a person's life. We do not gamble with people's impressions when the stakes are so high. They walk out subluxated, they die. Not an option. Learn your systems, practice on your own time, and become committed to a higher purpose that the practice and the patients deserve. Beautiful. I love it. So that's really what this is about, is being committed to the higher purpose of what you do. And no matter how great, how much you've perfected these, the reason why we role play every single week is to stay sharp, right? To really stay sharp and be able to know that you're serving a higher purpose and you're really helping these people to the best of your ability, serving and loving them, and you're constantly upgrading the experience you're providing. And it's just such a beautiful thing to come together as a team and do this really from a place of purpose and really from your heart and soul. You're doing this to serve, you're doing this to love, even in your role play. So I'm so excited for you guys. Oh, the other cool thing about role play, one more thing, I love it so much, is it makes it really easy when you bring new people into your team, because this is already part of your team culture, is to role play every week. So bringing someone new in, this becomes really easy. The training, it's just an easy thing that's already part of your systems. Of course, you might do an intensive role play session with them or multiple intensive role play sessions. But as far as them seeing like, hey, this is the level of excellence that's expected of me every single week, that's what they're going to see with the amazing example that you set. Enjoy, have so much fun with your staff meeting, and remember that the inspiration is everything. Staying in that peak state and really enjoying it, setting out those focus goals as a team is really what it's all about. It's such a beautiful time. It was always my very favorite thing that we did together as a team. Enjoy.
Okay, my friends. Okay, so go ahead and take a moment now, rapid fire as quickly as you can. I want you to write down your action steps. What are you going to do based off of this lesson? I'm realizing packing in team retreats was probably a little overboard for today. We might end up keeping it at team meetings, and I may reschedule the team retreats topic because the team meetings are so content rich. Each step has multiple points that you can take and implement. So please share with me in your comment box, send me a text, email. What are you committed to and what are you going to implement with your team? So what we're going to do, yes, I've decided, decision is made. We will reschedule team retreats, although I have so much for you and I already posted some links on the topic for you guys, but we are going to have to reschedule that sadly. But I'll make sure to do that soon, within a month. That's my promise to you. Okay. And so what we're going to do today is two things. One, I want to read to you guys again a passage from 40 Days to a Joy-Filled Life. I know that I've read from this book before. Those of you that have been with me before have been with me for a while. And it is so powerful. And so I just want to read to you quickly today's passage. It's so powerful. Okay. So I'm going to read this to you for our mindset portion, and then I want you to take inspired action. So before we do that, everybody just stand up, shake your bodies out. Whew. Shake your bodies out, shake your bodies out, wherever you are. Yes, I can see you. Shake your bodies out. Woo! Take a couple deep breaths. Get the energy flowing again. Get some power. Your power is on. Okay, so write your own headlines. Enough of the negative news stories already. Steer clear of the defective thinking that the media is including. Instead, break from the pack and chart your own course. Starting today, write your own life story and make the headline sensational. Your written goals are your headlines. For the future, make them captivating, and you'll rise above and beyond your previous best and in much more joy along the way. Goals work because we enjoy moving towards something. We want experience. That's why it feels so much better to head off on a long overdue vacation with family, friends, than it does to endure long car rides home. Goals give us tangible targets as we move forward in life. Develop goals to grow your faith as well as your finances. Develop goals to become a better spouse, a stronger parent. Develop a goal to become fit and maybe even a goal to boom, 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 have more fun. I encourage you to carve out a block of time and create back-to-back goals so that you will have an uninterrupted agenda of family adventures, personal achievement, and other wonderful memories to look forward to and move toward for at least the next decade. Whoa, who here goal sets for at least the next decade? So, before we go any further, I want us to look at these topics because the author of this book, um, is the founder of the 1% Club. So, does he know a thing or two about wealth? Absolutely. And abundance. So, he says, I'm just going to read this part again on these topics. Develop goals to grow your faith. So, faith as well as your finances. So he's got goals for faith, goals for finances. In fact, I'm just going to underline these: faith, finances. Develop goals to become a better spouse. So relationships, if you're not married, a stronger parent. Develop a goal to become fit, and maybe even a goal to have fun. Those are good. I encourage you to carve out a block of time and create back-to-back goals so that you will have an uninterrupted agenda of family adventure, personal achievement, and other enchanted memories to look forward to and move toward over the next decade. So what if you just, from this whole lesson, took those categories and made a goal in each of those categories and made the back-to-back goals for the next decade? Finances, here's the goal for this year, next year, the following, I'll go through to the decade. A goal gives you something to work toward, so you're not just living for today, right? If you have a goal of a family vacation and you need X amount of finances to do that, how much easier is it to save and be a little thrifty here and there and get innovative on how to make some more money when you have that deadline of I need X amount of money by this date? It's so much easier because we've set a goal, we have something to work toward, so we actually make better, healthier financial decisions, right? That's why goals work when you're consistent with them. Good times. Okay. Goal setting is one of the most powerful tools for cultivating the 4-8 mindset and living a joy-filled life. Unfortunately, it is also extremely underutilized. Parents abdicate the teaching of this skill to the schools. Schools omit it from the curriculum. Churches breeze over the subject entirely. And the barrage of burning items on our to-do list keeps many adults scattered. and frantic, simply winging it through their entire lives, never knowing there was an alternative approach. It doesn't have to be this way. Goals tell your brain what to notice in the midst of a crowded thought life. Goals tell your brain what to notice in the midst of a crowded thought life. That's powerful. Imagine a football stadium packed full of fans wearing light gray sweatshirts, all except for 10 daring young men who have painted their entire torsos bright red, bold goals, who have painted them bright red. Sorry. Bold goals stand out in your mind like those guys stand out to the videographer. True. In a blimp flying overhead. Goal setting is an essential tool for disciplining your mind to focus on what is lovely, excellent, and worthy. Your goals reveal what you want to see come true in your life. In addition, the presence of clearly written goals equips you with a physical mechanism for focusing your attention on the good stuff, making it far easier to be faithful stewards in your mind. Your goals will reflect the elements of your life that are worth affection, reflection, and meditation. Okay, this doesn't only, well, you know what? I think I'm going to pause there. I'm going to pause there for today because I want to give you guys time to work on your 6 steps, work on building your team meeting, and then also, really work on the importance of this goal setting, even personally as well, because it's a huge part of the team meeting. If you think about it, it's kind of in every step or in a lot of the steps is goals, your intention, your action, like all these things that you do in the meeting are to work towards your goals. And I feel like this lays a good foundation of why goals are important. That, by the way, was only 2 pages. I'm just not great at reading out loud. Page and a half of this book. I have tons and tons of, little daily devotional type books that I like and recommend. So reach out if you are interested. And I may even post some in the comments as well. Have an awesome day. Thanks for being here.